Mosley! Yeah!
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 You're in the Christmas spirit before I could even say my line. Are you in the Christmas spirit?
I am. It's got to be the ball.
I see that.
Anyway.
I'm actually really impressed how you managed to get your hat over your headphones right there. Look at that.
Yeah, this is a really small hat, or I got a really small head. I don't know.
Yeah. So I have a really huge head, and this is actually cutting off my circulation right
Dude,
here.
I can see the veins pulsing in your head as you speak.
It's the sacrifices we make, quite frankly, to make a quality program like this one.
All for the viewer in you. That's right.
Guys, welcome back for another episode of It's Too Late. I am your host, Alan Mosley. It's our Christmas episode spectacular on December 16th.
Yes, it is.
But the reason for that is that, like, next week, when we would normally do the show, it's, like, literally right before Christmas.
Right.
And you and I are not coming in here at that time.
Nope.
I'm going to be hiding at my house. I'm not going anywhere. It's not that I'm going, like, out to have fun, and that's why I'm not coming to work. It's because I'm just not going to leave my house.
Yeah. No duck dinner for us broke folks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm gonna be at home. So we're having our Christmas show tonight.
Yes, we are.
And I'm joined as always by the #1 producer at Late Night. It's Blake Osborne.
You're jealous of the hat. Come on, admit it.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. You said you handed me a hat, and you know that my head is like 18 times larger than the size of a normal human. But I'm thinking you gave me the small hat.
No, they're all the same size. Come on.
Just this is actually painful.
Ow, God, dude.
I know, dude. It's really
bad.
So,
Yeah. So what?
We actually have a whole, like, redesigned episode tonight.
It's exciting. Like, I'm totally geeked about this.
Yeah, I know. You got, like, the preview before we got started.
I'm feeling all holiday spirit today, finally.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
So people sometimes will ask, like, well, what do you do? You know, what do you do to get into the holiday cheer? And I tell them, well, first of all, do I look like the kind of guy who does holiday cheer to you? Like,
you're wearing a hat, bro. I mean,
you obviously have never met me and have never seen one episode of this show if you think that I'm the cheerful type.
Yeah. All good, though.
But there actually is. So I really hate Christmas music.
Okay.
But there is one Christmas song that I listen to every year.
Okay, and what's that?
And it's not the vocal, it's
the
instrumental version of Christmas Time Is Here by Vince Guaraldi Trio, the Charlie Brown Christmas, you know?
Yeah, that is the one from the Charlie Brown special, right?
Yes,
That's
yeah.
That real evening. Oh man, that's such a good song.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, I like jazz, and it's kind of a jazz. So
that's so good.
So that's the one. I'll listen to that one song on repeat like 2 or 3 times, and then I'm good. We're on to January at that point.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's your Christmas cocaine.
You know, we had it's your Merry Christmas cocaine.
Yes,
That's exactly right. We had a Christmas party here at the studio last week. So even though we're doing our Christmas episode like a week and some change in advance, this isn't even the earliest Christmas. We actually had a Christmas party last week.
You get the feeling that this year people seem to be more into Christmas than they have in the past? You think it's the whole like My Sharona thing? I don't know.
I mean, I think that people are way the opposite. I think
really.
No, I mean nobody's into Christmas because nobody can go out and do anything and nobody has any money.
That's weird. But, I don't know. I feel my feelings have been the opposite. Like I feel like it's been a little bit more holiday. Maybe because everyone's stuck at home with their family. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you feel that way, but the economy doesn't feel that way. I put it to you that way.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the show. So we're going to save that for that.
Right on.
But I do want to say, since we're doing our whole Christmas spectacular, so you're going to say there's going to be all sorts of music, there's going to be all sorts of graphics, all this stuff. You know, the thing is that I was up at like 3 this morning, just like sitting there like I'm the Grinch and I'm putting together I'm orchestrating my plot for the Christmas episode this year. And I'm sitting there thinking, why am I doing this? Like, why don't I just not do anything and then that's it. But our good friend, Mike Mahari, I had actually sent Mike a message at like at wee o'clock in the morning. Because for me, you know, the morning is like 11 a.m., noon. That's when I get up normally. But I was up really early this morning and I sent a message to Mike and I'm grumpy and I was up late and I had said, why am I doing all this work? And he wrote back to me and he said, because you're somebody who values excellence.
There you go.
And I can appreciate that.
Yay.
And I said, all right, you got me convinced.
Yep.
That instantly put me in a good mood. So now, if you see me later today or whatever, and I'm in the Christmas cheer, you can thank Mike Mahari.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good advice for anybody. Unlike me, I believe you should embrace mediocrity, but you know.
No, you don't. You don't think that. The producer of It's Too Late doesn't think that.
No, not for this show, but you know, for dinner, you know.
Are you going to do so are you going to do the whole big spread, the whole...
You know, most people do turkey. Some people do chicken. Some people even do a duck. I'm going to do a pot roast this year. Big fat pot roast.
Well, we talked about that the other week because we had the questions about it. So I don't want to revisit. Now, what I was going to say was, because you know how like Thanksgiving and Christmas are only like a few weeks apart.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people will go basically 11 months not doing the big family turkey dinner thing.
Yeah.
And then you do it like twice in 3 weeks.
I know. It's just not fair to turkeys.
So you know what we started doing in just the last couple of years? This is like a quick little like window into the Mosley family.
Okay.
Before we take a commercial break.
Sure.
Is we always did that, right? Like we always had the whole big thing for Thanksgiving, and we'd go over to my parents' house and mom and dad are sitting there cooking. Like they get up at like 4 a.m., you know, to start.
Yeah.
And then everything's ready by like 4 p.m. And then the family just shows up then to just shovel it into their faces and then pick up their presents and leave because that's what kind of, I'm sorry, that's what kind of, so anyway, and that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it actually costs a lot of money to do all that and feed all those people. And we didn't always have the most money growing up.
Right.
And so fast forward all the way into adult life, like I'm already into my 30s.
Yeah.
And for the first time in our family's history, we have the conversation of, well, why don't we not do that? Why don't we pick one? Why don't we have Thanksgiving? Right. And we'll do Thanksgiving dinner like traditionally.
Yeah.
But then for Christmas, we'll do like finger foods. We'll do we'll do like wild wings. Yeah. We'll do like tenders. Sure. We'll do like sandwiches. We'll get those big subs or something something like that. Cause you're going to watch a football game or something. So we'll just have wings and watch the football game.
There you go.
And that's so I actually thought that was a great idea. I know that that's not like uber traditional, but again, so you do the whole big thing for Thanksgiving, but then at Christmas, you just do finger foods. Yeah. And that way it's way easier on the family. And it's different, you know. Yeah. Especially, it's way easier for the family that's like hosting everything and preparing everything. And then that way everyone, more of the focus can be on just like the actual occasion. Yeah. And not the dinner.
Sure. That's a good idea. But I want to pose you one question.
What?
What do you think food-wise is inappropriate for Christmas?
Oh, I don't think anything's inappropriate. But let me finish my story. Sure. God forbid you let me finish my damn story.
I didn't know you were.
You've ruined Christmas. You've literally ruined. Okay, so anyway, so that was the plan. We were going to do that. Everyone agreed. Well, when I say everyone in the household agreed. Well, yeah, that makes perfect sense. We should have been doing this for years. And then I have one aunt who just lost her mind.
You're serious.
Just was like, just went off, like went full Karen. And was like, well, that's not what we always do for Christmas. We always have turkey and stuffing and raspberry and pie and it wouldn't be Christmas without that. And we've been doing that for 60 years and we're not going to change now. Sure. And I was like, but now keep in mind, folks at home, but this is one of the family members who she doesn't cook.
Okay.
But she doesn't cook, like, most of the time, she doesn't even cook throughout the year for her own people. She's not a cooker. She definitely doesn't cook at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
There you go.
They've never had the family gathering at their house. Okay. It's always been at someone else's. Yep. They just show up with, like, the mac and cheese. Mooch. By the way, if you're the person who just makes mac and cheese, which takes 5 minutes, and then you show up and say, well, I helped with dinner this year. Yeah. You should visit euthanasia.com/Christmas to get the information you need. Yeah, that's right. Exactly so. Very good.
Oh, that is so festive.
Very good. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping we wouldn't do euthanasiacom for the Christmas episode, but it's like Pandora's. You've opened it.
Yeah.
It
I mean, you have to.
can't be closed.
Yeah.
So we actually have a really fun episode for you tonight. Please stick around. We will be right back after this break. If you're enjoying tonight's show, consider supporting the program by becoming a member of our Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/Alan Mosley.
So good.
I know. We're getting it. We'll let that play out. How about that?
So good.
I know. Well,
So good.
you're welcome then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't that get you into the spirit?
I tell you another one too is like so having a cousin who their contribution to the dinner is they butter the rolls. Which, by the way, that's basically like the kids' fun time. That's you just melt the butter in the cup and you have the brush, and you just brush the rolls. That's it. And they're like, "Oh, I helped make dinner."
Yeah, don't work too hard.
Like,
jeez,
that's not making anything.
No,
that's the fun. That's like you know how you make your cinnamon rolls and then you put the icing on.
Yeah.
Putting putting the icing on isn't making cinnamon rolls.
No.
The rolls are already made.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm talking myself out of being cheerful. You see that? You see what I'm doing?
I see that. Yeah. Don't talk yourself out of being cheerful.
I'm gonna try not to.
Stay in the mood. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Blake.
Yeah.
What time is it?
It's time for...
No, he only does that, folks at home. He only does that because he's testing the compressor on his rig just to see if it's working. That's the only reason I know. I know this man. That's why he's doing it.
Yep, there you go.
Has a list of all the good and bad people in the world, values your privacy, and won't share it with any governments or third-party contractors. That's good
Santa.
guy. That's good
Thank
guy,
you, Santa.
anarchist Santa right there.
There you go. Thank you, Santa.
Santa's definitely an anarchist.
He definitely is an anarchist.
I mean, when you figure a guy who basically breaks and enters into homes all over the world once a year, so I mean that guy is definitely not down with the state.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's family.
I was gonna say, I mean, I guess the reason why he breaks into your home as opposed to just putting it in your mailbox is because, of course, if you open someone's mailbox, that's like a felony.
Oh yeah.
Because it's the mail. Yeah.
Man.
So Santa's willing to do a lot, but he won't mess with the feds.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
I love it.
So okay.
Yeah.
So I had a different one that was way better.
Okay.
But that one had Santa in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the Christmas episode.
Yeah. We don't want to get too serious,
So, well, I mean, it was way better, but that one had Santa in it,
Yeah.
and it's the Christmas episode.
There you go.
So, if you're displeased with our meme of the week this week,
too bad.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
So if you go to patreon.com/Alan Mosley and donate us, just put in your credit card number and then just put 999 and then it'll let you leave a message and then you can tell us what you think about.
That's right. And we will definitely do it for that kind of number.
Remember when we used to tell people to go to the page to leave us comments so that we could ban them?
Sure do.
We don't do that anymore.
No, we don't.
It's probably because we banned everybody. No one leaves comments anymore.
Maybe that's what's wrong with our reach.
Yeah. That's probably it. Speaking of that, let's answer some viewer mail. Don't cut us off right now.
I'm not.
Yeah.
That was.
Andrew Avery writes, Dear Alan and Blake, if Father Christmas is uncomfortable in tight quarters of the chimney, is he Santa Claustrophobic?
Oh Lord.
I gotta tell you, that felt forced. So I think would have made it better is if instead of Andrew writing, "Is he Santa claustrophobic?" he should have said, "Is Santa claustrophobic?"
There you go.
I think that would have played better.
It's all in the pronunciation.
And I could have like just fixed it myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, really, who am I to question the pun master?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I feel like if you're going to read someone's viewer mail, you should read it exactly the way they sent it in all of its retarded goodness.
Yep.
Yeah.
That means that you need to work a little bit on that punctuation, Halls.
Jonathan Carranza writes, "Dear Alan and Blake, what is your favorite type of pet?" Well, okay, this is a good question for Blake, since Blake went from only
Here we
ever
go
having
again.
like.
Which dog is your favorite? You know.
Well, no, I mean that you went from like you had dogs to now you have like a zoo.
Yeah.
So for someone who has lots of experience with lots of different animals,
Yes.
Blake, what's your favorite type of pet?
I will admit this, and I am not ashamed.
Okay.
Cats.
What?
Cats.
Well, of course,
I'm a cat
exactly
guy.
so.
I will always be a cat dude. Sorry. You know,
So, okay.
I like my dogs. I like my alpacas. I like my goats. I like my rheas, but I love my cats.
Yeah, cats are just the superior life
They
form.
are.
That's just how it is.
They are far more superior to us.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I mean they're not superior to us. They're just little assholes. I'm saying, but they are superior as a pet. You don't have to really clean up after them very much. They pretty much just take care. Just leave something in the house to eat and drink, and then just forget you own a cat, and then it's fine. Everything's fine after that. Oh man, you know what I should have done? I should have gotten a picture of our cat Sebastian and had it for the show.
We need to bring pictures of our cats just so everybody can admire their awesomeness.
That would probably improve our ratings like 100-fold if we just started showing pictures of our kitties.
After all, 2020 was the year of the cat meme, so
How do you so settle this for me and Anna Kay, because Anna Kay is a cat person too.
Okay. Sure.
And she's always had a cat,
Yeah.
and yet I think that she doesn't actually know how to talk to a cat. If you want to call your cat, if your cat is in the other room and you want him to come into the kitchen, how do you call your cat?
By name.
So you just say, "Jeffrey, come," and he
Bingo, yeah. I have two cats. One's name is Skipper, and the other one's name is Buddy. And so we go, "Skipper, Skipper, Buddy, Buddy," and they come running. They know their names because they're that smart. Now, if you do that with a dog goes, "Duh."
So you're the type of person then who gives pets like pet names as opposed to give them like human names, like Buddy and Skipper, as opposed to.
I didn't technically name my cats.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been Dave and Bill.
Dave. Okay.
Or Billy Fred, which is my favorite.
I can't even talk to you anymore. I can't even. I try to include you in the program, and you just take it and you run away with it. This is why it's like I can't. It's like you're a dog where if I throw the ball, you don't bring it back. It's just gone forever.
I refuse.
So this is why I can't. This is so for folks at home. This is why I don't include Blake in the show. This is exactly what happens. Rocking around the Christmas tree or Grandma got run over by a reindeer. So, I mean, I'm going to say, of course, rocking around the Christmas tree because Grandma got run over by a reindeer. That's like, I don't like gimmick songs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a gimmick song. Yeah. It's for people whose IQ is below room temperature, who you get a singing fish with a Christmas hat on it, and it sings "Grandma got run over by a reindeer."
I agree.
And no one actually puts it on their wall, by the way, because you'd be literally retarded if you did.
Yeah, but yeah.
I swear to God, if one of you sends that here, we're just going to destroy it on air. That's all that's going to happen.
Yeah, totally.
So rocking around the Christmas tree.
Yeah, there you go.
Clay Davis writes, "Dear Alan and Blake, what was the first game console you ever owned?" Oh, well, Blake is actually 400 years older than me.
Yeah, I'm excited to answer this one.
So Blake, what was your first game console?
Can you see this? Do you see it? Look at that.
The Odyssey.
That is the Odyssey 2. I had that 1977, brother.
Look at that big ass board and little joysticks and stuff.
Man. It had the best games, though. They were horrible little, like, 2-bit graphics, but, I mean, the games were fun. Even for back then, I mean, just, like, kind of Pong type thing. Had great racing games and had a few really bad, like, snow games, like slalom and stuff, but still.
I hated slalom. So
You know what the funniest part about that video game was? When was the last time you had to hook something into a TV with those two little U-shaped wires and a screwdriver? Remember that?
I do, but obviously not in a really long time.
That was a long time ago, buddy.
So our first game console when I was a kid was the original NES.
Yeah.
The original Nintendo,
Bet you wish
the
you
gray
still had that
box.
thing.
So I had the front loader. I had the one that you push in and it goes down or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was just something about that console. I mean, just
Yeah.
snapping in the cartridge and dropping that little flap over there just felt so manly.
You didn't
It's like
you
slamming
didn't
the lid of a
live
Corvette, you know.
you didn't live in the golden era of video games if you didn't have to blow your console
That's
before you
right.
played it.
That's right.
That's right.
Mhm.
Exactly so. Adam Sakozin writes, Dear Alan and Blake,
Yes.
Skittles or M&Ms?
Mix them together and you got a party.
I'm like, no, you don't. I like to so I'm a firm believer in segregation.
There you go.
You got to keep the M&Ms over here and the
Mhm.
Skittles. Actually, what you do is so take all your M&Ms, you keep
Mhm.
them in one place,
Right.
and then you take the bowl
Mhm.
and then you pour it in the trash because
There you go.
M&Ms suck.
There you go.
That's what you do with M&Ms.
That's
Their M&Ms are disgusting.
Yeah.
I actually dislike them passionately.
Yeah, I would choose Skittles over M&M's.
Yeah, Skittles. Yeah, taste the rainbow. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
And what's the point of a brown M&M? It's an old joke. Continue.
See, you're doing it again. See, this is what. Okay, so from now on, when I read the viewer mail and it says "Dear Alan and Blake," I'm gonna say "Dear Alan and Company," and I'll answer for you from now on.
There you go.
And Sherry Voluntary, which we were gonna have Sherry on the show tonight, but we had some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
And she actually sent me a picture. She was in I'll just describe it as Christmas gear.
Uh-oh.
So we missed out on that.
We can only
I
imagine.
actually could have taken the picture and posted it, but I didn't do that because I think she would appreciate me not having shown that.
Okay.
So there you go.
There you go.
Sherry Voluntary writes, "What are your favorite holiday traditions?" Okay, so again, have I ever come off to you as someone who even has holiday traditions?
There you go. Well, you admitted to the food part, but that's kind of
Well, I mean, no,
sort of a
the food
thing.
part was just a
Yeah.
story of something we
Yeah.
tried to do and
Yeah.
then failed because there was an insurrection amongst our extended family.
which insurrection is a holiday tradition.
Yeah.
Mine, lots of stuff. We have a really cool one. Not just the Elf on the Shelf thing.
Mhm.
Well, we got these little mailboxes. They're about like that big.
Okay.
And we got the kids' names on each one of them. And then every day from the beginning of the first day of December when the elves arrive, the
Mhm.
Elf on the Shelf guys,
hmm
they get a little piece of candy or a little surprise in their mailboxes that they get to open when they get up in the morning. It's kind of like an advent calendar, but you're not really counting anything. You're just kind of enjoying what you get. And the story is, the elves bring it to them and whatsoever. And if they ever touch the elves, the candy stops. Anyway, there's a tradition for you.
That sounds like more effort than I would be willing to put forth.
Have kids, you'll understand.
I will not have kids, and I want you to understand.
Oh, I understand.
Okay. All right. Last one before we go to the commercial break. Do you have? So you have kids in a range of ages.
Yes.
How many of any of your kids still believe in the big man?
The 3-year-old does.
So the other ones have all become cynical, old, just angry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally jaded, man.
I've met your kids and I could see that. Actually,
They resent learning the fact that Santa wasn't real, and they'll hold it against me for the rest of my life.
imagine how old I feel, by the way,
Yeah.
because in my mind, you have a baby
Uh-huh.
that's like this big.
Yeah.
But he's 3.
He's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Actually,
that happened really
imagine
fast.
how old you are, is what that's what I should
I got
say.
12-year-olds.
There you go.
Doesn't seem like much to some folks.
Well, this show's practically dead now, so
No,
I
it-
guess we better play another Christmas song and then take a commercial break.
Yes, sir.
Your ad could be playing right now, reaching thousands of potential customers. Sadly, it's not, but it could be. Find out how to be an advertised sponsor for It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. Email us at alan@funnybroke.com. Have any of your cats ever gotten in the tree?
No, I don't think they know how.
I can tell all I will tell you as like forewarning of Sebastian, our cat, is if he weighs more than the tree.
Wow.
So if he got in the tree, that would be the end of. And I don't mean because he attempts to knock it over. I mean because So Sebastian actually weighs. We actually weighed him.
Did you?
So we put him on a diet because he was overweight.
What did he weigh?
He was over 20 pounds.
Good night.
Now he's down to a trim 19.6.
There it is. Yeah. Good
yeah.
job. Yeah. Don't you wish diets worked on humans as good as they do on cats? Anyway.
But it didn't work. He's still fat as hell.
I guess that's true.
So what are you trying to say?
What, a 19-pound cat? Isn't that like standard? Mine are both about.
No.
Oh man.
Cats are supposed to be like 10 pounds or something, dude.
But they're better when they're fat and filthy like that.
You like it fat and filthy, don't
That's
you?
right.
What happened to this program? This used to be the type of show that a family could all like gather around kids. Like everybody would sit around the radio and they would listen to.
Yeah.
That actually never happened.
No,
I'm just kidding. So what we're gonna do in lieu of like talking about serious articles and stuff is I decided, since it's the Christmas show and we've got 2 news segments, we're gonna do one segment where we're gonna talk about people who are getting candy in their stocking this year.
Okay.
And then for the next segment, we're going to talk about people getting coal in their stocking this year.
Okay.
So we're going to start with the nice. We're going to start with the good list. So starting with number 1, the first person to get candy this year, how about Ian Smith over at Atlas Gym up in New Jersey? Listen to this for Ian Smith. This guy is defying the lockdown, the shutdown, the mask mandates in New Jersey, despite Governor Murphy, everything he's thrown at him. Listen to this. They've been getting fined $15,497 every day that they have been in operation, totaling right now over $1.2 million.
That's crazy.
But Ian Smith and his partner Frank Trombetti have refused to shut down. They're still opening.
Gosh, $1 million in fines.
They've been arrested at least once already. They've gotten over 60 citations, some of them criminal citations. But they actually estimate that they've had as many as 84,000 visits to their gym since May in the time that they've resumed operation.
I was going to say, I mean, that must be a pretty successful gym to be able to hang on to those fines like that. I mean,
well, I know. I mean, if they had to pay them, they'll go to jail. They'll go out of business. They're just refusing to. But I'll tell you this, what a great thing he had. So I'm not like, I really don't like the whole little viral video thing where you have the printout papers and they all say, like, I think that's kind of gay.
Yeah.
Not gay as in marry and joy, but gay as in gay. But he did one and it just talks about we've been fined and we're not going to close. But at the end of it, it said, like, why are we doing this? And his answer was because free men don't ask for permission.
There you go.
I was like, hell yeah, brother.
That's right.
So I like that. So good on him.
Bumper sticker with that.
I do want to say though, like, it's so easy. This is something that you see sometimes, or especially around the internet, because keyboard warriors, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see a lot of people that'll say, well, if all small businesses would do that, then we wouldn't have these men, blah, 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 blah. Like, okay, yeah, if all did, maybe that would be true. But the fact of the matter is like, this guy's taking a huge risk.
Dang right.
He's taking a huge risk because if this blows up in his face, if the courts don't side with him, and by the way, the courts usually don't side with people over themselves, over the state.
Yeah.
Dude's going to go to jail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, big balls, big time.
Yeah.
I applaud what he's doing. I support him. I mean, I know that I'm sure they've got a fundraiser to try to help pay costs and all that stuff. Good luck.
Yeah.
Is all I can say. I mean,
That's inspiring though.
So that actually came up in our stack a few weeks ago, and I thought about like covering it as one of the things we would do on the show. Ended up going with something else. But if we get an update on him, I'll let you
Yeah.
know. But in the meantime, he gets candy in his stocking for
Definitely.
being an example to other people
Definitely.
of, hey, it actually said, free men don't ask permission and nor for forgiveness. So there you go.
Awesome.
The second person who's getting candy is Tom Woods.
Yay, there he is.
Tom Woods, our friend Tom Woods, former guest on this show. There's an image right there of his video that used to be on YouTube. Actually got taken down for being hashtag fake news.
What?
Because YouTube will not suffer anyone to deny him a narrative. So he actually gave a few different talks at this point. That one right there is from a talk that was the fact-free COVID dystopia.
Yeah.
I think the last one he gave was at the Ron Paul event in Texas.
Yeah.
With Mises and all that stuff. But he's given some really great talks. And by the way, it's not just Tom. I mean, we've been anti-lockdown, anti-mandate,
Definitely.
Pro common sense on this show from the very beginning.
Big time.
There's the Great Barrington Declaration, the people over at AIER and the people who have signed that. So there's been lots of people that have done a lot of great work and have stood up on principle and all that. The reason why I give props to Tom is because that's really been kind of like the main focus of his talks and his programming for the last several months. Which, I mean, it's one of those things where so we here at this program, we do a show that we talk about a lot of current events. And on the one hand, I don't want to talk about the same thing every single freaking week.
Right.
I think I have said on this show like 7 different times, all right, that's the last time we're going to talk about the Modelo virus. And then we end up talking about it again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still in the news though, right? Like it's still the biggest issue facing us today. And so you can't help but to like continue to update the story as it unfolds.
Yep.
So I give big props to Tom. I tell you what, I think it's next year around October is when he announced that he's going to be having his episode 2000 spectacular for like his supporters. So I actually went to the episode 1000 one down in Orlando.
I remember that.
A few years. We had actually done episode 1 of this show.
Yep.
And then took off for a month because I went down there for episode 1000 of his thing.
Yeah.
So episode 2000, because he does a show like 5 days a week.
Yeah,
So that's why we're coming up on 150 and he's at 2000.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'll go again. I think I'll go to the 2000. I'll tell you what though, this gives me an excuse to tag Tom in the episode. Okay. Tom, you should have me on your show.
You should.
Before
exactly right.
episode 2000.
Right.
So that's actually like my goal. That's like my New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
I got to get on the Tom Woods show before he has his episode 2000.
Right. Yeah, we challenge him to have you on the show.
Yeah. Yes. We've thrown the gauntlet.
That's right.
He should have me on that program.
That's right.
I'm a fantastic guest.
You are.
I don't use bad words like I do sometimes on this show.
On other people's shows, yes.
Yeah, I know. I don't go on other people's show and use bad words.
That's right. Bad words are for us. This is a club here.
Well, I mean, I try not to use bad words on this show, but I mean, if I had any type of decent producer, I could just say whatever I want, and then they would go into post, and then they would bleep it, and it'd be like bleep, and then. But I don't have any kind of producer, so we don't do that.
There we go.
So more candy. We're gonna give candy to our friends over at the 10th Amendment Center.
Yeah.
How about the 10th Amendment Center? Yeah. How about this for folks? So first of all, one of our commercials for every episode is for the Path to Liberty, which is the program hosted by Michael Bolden, president and founder of the 10th Amendment Center. So they are supporters of our program. We've had Michael Bolden on the show multiple times. Of course, everyone knows my sports ball co-host, Mike Mahari, who's National Communications Director over there. So we love TAC. Let me tell you something about the 10th Amendment Center, guys. So first of all, I'm a member. I am a member of the 10th Amendment Center, and you can be one too. Yep. All you got to do is go to 10thamendmentcenter.com/members, I think.
Yep.
I think.
That's it. That's correct. Yeah.
I feel like this is the type of thing we should look up before.
No, I think you're right. Last time I checked, that was what it was.
All right. So I'm a member of the 10th Amendment Center, and I'm proud to be a member, and I will continue to be a member. I get an annual membership. I don't know what that runs, but I know that they'll take whatever. They're like us. You just click on the donate button,
999.
and then you put in your credit
Yep,
card number,
yep.
and then you just type 9999999.99, and then you click,
Go. Yeah.
enter, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And yeah, so,
Mhm.
but their guys, like, this is the thing about TAC, and it's something we've talked about on the show with those guys before, is that they stay true to their convictions and their principles, and they cover their content from the same perspective, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, administration in and administration out.
That's right.
Because for those guys over there, when a Democrat is in office and they say, well, this is the biggest government in the history of mankind, the empire needs to scale back, this Democratic president is a monster. Well, all the Democrats will come pouring out of the woodwork saying, you guys are just racists and neo-Confederates and Nazis and no one cares what you think and blah, blah, blah. And all the Republicans will say, I love the 10th Amendment Center. You guys are speaking truth to power.
Yep.
And then when a Republican president gets elected and the Democrats out of office, TAC says the same stuff.
That's right.
Their message doesn't change.
Yep.
And then all the Democrats come out and say, we really appreciate you sticking it to that guy. You gotta, all Drumpf, you gotta get Drumpf out of, this is hashtag resist. Thanks for helping resist. And then all the Republicans will come out and say, now, keep in mind, the same people who were all supposedly all about balanced budgets and limited government and all that stuff will then say, well, it's not really Trump's fault. It's just the Congress. He's trying to drain the swamp, and we're trying to keep America great. What's wrong with you? Like, one of my favorite things about Michael Bolden, really quick, is that every so often he'll post a screenshot of just some comment or some hate mail that they have gotten, and it's exactly what you'd expect. It's just strings of words with nair punctuation here or there, and it's just nonsense.
Yeah.
And Bolden will say, well, I mean, we're 20, 21, 22, whatever $trillion in debt.
Yeah.
Spending is skyrocketing. Greater budget deficits now than ever before.
That's right.
That's not fiscal conservatism. That's not limited government. So yeah, we're going to call them out. And then the Republicans are, but now that Biden has got elected, it's getting ready to, so the beautiful thing is that it'll flip. And the people who hated them yesterday will love them today. And the people who loved them yesterday will hate them tomorrow.
That's right. The best thing is you can go get a membership and you can watch that unfold. And
you know what? That is the best part of it, is that if you get a membership and that sustains TAC, and then you just get to watch the train wreck unfold.
That's right.
So Bolden and Mahari, if you're out there and you're listening, I appreciate what you're doing. You get candy in your stocking, and we will continue to watch the train wreck unfold. And the last person's getting candy.
Lord.
It's Blake Osborne.
Yes.
It's Blake. This is
God,
happening.
I need a dentist.
If you're ever wondering, by the way, why Blake can't get anything done in there, that's because that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just in there playing.
Yeah, it's all I do the whole time.
Yeah.
Play.
He's not even watching. He's not even listening to the show right now. He's literally just in there on his Odyssey playing slalom. He's not even doing anything.
I just push the buttons.
That's what he's doing.
Yep.
So Blake,
Yes.
you get candy in your stocking, buddy.
Yay.
But-
Normally I don't get stockings at all.
But that's just for you. That's not for the kids.
Okay.
So because I know how they are. You'll say, hey, look, I got candy. And before you know it, it's their candy.
What kind of candy you putting in there?
Yeah. I'm going to mix some M&Ms and some Skittles together for you so that you can have a party.
Yay, party.
Just some type of masochist, I think, is you. I think so.
Maybe.
Guys, we'll be back for the people getting coal in their stocking after the break. Don't go away. Some of those cookies looked a little jank.
Yeah, I'd still eat them though.
Oh, I mean,
They look delicious.
we'd still eat them. I'm just
Oh,
saying
yeah.
that it's not like they were artisanal,
No,
like bells and trees. I think they were just slices of cookie with
still
dots
glorious.
on them.
Still glorious.
That's actually probably the kind of cookies I would make. to be honest.
Definitely.
Well, I did. In fact, that's actually a video of us and our cookies.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You were telling me earlier. So you need to bring me some of those when you make them next time. Feeling down over here.
I feel like that's something that our audience should do for us.
Definitely.
I mean, they send us like insanely
chips.
hot chips.
Yeah.
You'd think that they could just send us some cookies or
Yeah,
something.
come on. Christmas cookies, y'all. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would do a live taste testing of the Christmas cookies.
Just don't put anything weird.
don't. Yeah.
Do we trust them enough to do that?
Well, I mean, we we already ate the chip.
That's true. That's
Like
true.
I feel like we paid our dues.
Yeah.
It's now we've earned
yeah.
something sweet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you
I
go.
agree.
I'll tell you who hasn't earned something sweet.
Who's that?
It's the 4 people we have today for this segment. People are getting coal in their stocking. We're going to start with number 1. It's the lockdown governors.
Oh yeah, look at them. Look how happy they are.
I was talking to Sherry last night, and I was saying, well, let's make a list of people that should get coal in their stocking. And I was like, well, we can't. The whole list can't be just a bunch of different governors. So I just decided number 1 would just be all the lockdown governors.
Yes.
So you got Tom Wolf over there in the top right, Pennsylvania. Bottom right, there's Cuomo. So he's murdered like thousands of elderly people. Top left, you've got Gavin Newsom. He sees a fly or something. You know how the lizard people are. If there's a fly buzzing around, they want to like whip their tongue out and get it. And then bottom left, of course, is Emperor Palpatine, a.k.a. Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan. By the way, I just want to say really quick, that picture, no, bring that back up. That picture of Whitmer right there in the corner, like I saw some people laughing saying that, like, if you were trying to dress for your press conference in such a way to make yourself look like the evil emperor,
Yeah.
she nailed it.
Yeah.
She's killing it. Yeah.
You know what impression I got from her?
What?
You remember G.I. Joe? Remember the Baroness?
The Baroness?
Looked like the Baroness, man. Yeah. Don't remember that, do you? I'm dating myself again. Continue.
Well, now I have to know. You ruined the segment
I'm
because
gonna
now I
have to get up a picture of the
I
Baroness.
can't focus. I have to see.
You have to see the Baroness.
All right, you just
I'll
Blake,
go
you
find
just
the
talk for a
Baroness.
minute. I'm gonna
Go
Google this really
find
quick.
The Baroness. Okay, so for those of you out there who do not know who the Baroness is, the Baroness, G.I. Joe, right? Okay, let me see if I can.
I like how you're supposed to be talking, and I'm searching, but
No,
you have the
I know.
camera on me.
So here we go. I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
Ah, here we are, the Baroness. Look at her, huh? Can you see her? Look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
That is the Baroness. That's what she looks like. Anyway, bad guys. Really bad guys.
Yeah, but why do the bad guys look so good? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know. That's the Baroness, dude.
Like this is why, you know.
So look at her again. Now you see what I'm talking about. See?
Yeah, except for this Baroness that I'm looking at, like,
Yeah.
looking pretty fine.
Focus.
That Baroness
Focus,
looks
my
like a
Yeah.
witch
Yeah, I agree.
with a hard B, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, the lockdown governors get coal in their stockings. I
Yep.
picked those. By the way, there's a whole lot more that
Oh,
are
yeah.
awful than just those 4.
Oh,
I
yeah.
picked out those 4 because I wanted to have a collage of 4, and
There you go.
yeah, that's how we did it. So anyway, we're gonna move on to number 2. The second person getting coal in their stocking. Of course, it's the popo,
Yeah. Yeah.
not the cops.
Not again.
It's a rough year for the 5-0.
Yeah, they've been having a rough year, haven't they?
Doesn't it feel like remember the whole what was the Chauvin kneeling on the neck of Floyd, and,
Yeah,
and then
remember
that
that?
spurred
That
all the
whole thing
riots and
happened, didn't it?
everything.
Yeah.
That feels like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that feels like it didn't even happen this century. It's just old school news. Yeah.
That feels like it was a generation ago, but it was
We've come a
actually
long way since
that
then.
is what
Yes.
the Modelo virus has done
That
to
is
us,
it.
like
Yep.
psychologically.
Absolutely.
Is there's everything that happened before and since.
Yep.
And that was in the before times.
Oh yeah.
And so we just don't even remember.
Ugh.
But we're not forgetting that the coal that the cops are getting in their stocking. I'll tell you another reason why they're getting coal too, by the way, is that speaking of those governors and their lockdown nonsense, and speaking of our poor friend Ian Smith trying to run his gym, like the cops have been harder on businesses during the lockdowns trying to survive and enforcing the mandates than they have been like on the looters back during the riots that were just stealing TVs from Best Buy.
There you go.
Like the cops were letting the riots and letting the looting take place, but you better believe they're there bright and early to knock on your door to make sure you're shut down so that you're not operating during a mandated shutdown.
Right. Especially if you're a bakery.
Yeah. So you know what? They deserve it. So you know what? If you're a thin blue liner, you probably because we have some new fans. Our numbers are up like on YouTube and so we joined Parler and we've gotten a lot of traction over there. And so because of that, we've gotten a lot of new fans. If you didn't realize it, now you know. This is not really a thin blue line program. It's really a shame that we were having technical difficulties and Sherry couldn't be here because really this is like Sherry ragging on the cops is like that's her only reason for living pretty much. So I'm sorry, Sherry, but I remembered you when we had the cops. Number 3, the third people getting coal. It's the corporate press. By the way, I've gotten into the habit of calling them the corporate press or the corporate media as opposed to the mainstream media.
Right.
I love the phrase corporate press because it really sets the tone.
Definitely.
That they are the others. It's them. They're not, because mainstream makes it like it legitimizes them, right? Like when you call them the mainstream media, it's like they're the commonplace media.
Plus, corporate also makes them kind of all seem like the same folks.
Yeah, like mainstream media gives them validity that they haven't earned and don't deserve.
Exactly.
So I refer to them as the corporate press. And yeah, so you saw all those different logos. You know what? All those different logos on that graphic right there, they're all the same. That's the thing. Is that's why they're just the monolithic corporate press.
That's right.
And the corporate press has been absolute disaster. I mean, it's not just this year. They've been getting coal in their stocking for a while, but they definitely deserve it this year.
Big chunk.
And by the way, I'm not a Trumper. I'm not defending Trump like, oh, the corporate press has been mean to Trump. No. The corporate press is mean to everybody. And what I mean by mean is that you are unpersoned by the corporate press unless you back their narrative. Right. So take the Modelo virus as a perfect example. If you're a Tom Woods and you're giving a talk about the COVID dystopia and your talk is just loaded with charts and graphs and data and statistics to back up the various claims you're making, you're getting deplatformed. You're getting unpersoned, big tech, social media, and corporate press teaming all together. I mean, how many times over the last year or two have you and I reported on this very show of, Joe Bob gets deplatformed, but he doesn't get deplatformed by one person. Like he gets deplatformed by several different sites all at the same time on the same day.
Yeah.
And you think, well, but wait a minute, these are all separate organizations or companies. What is it? It sure is convenient, coincidental that he gets deplatformed from like taking Alex Jones. And I don't give two shits, by the way, about Alex Jones. I said a bad word. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't care about Alex Jones, but just the simple fact that if Alex Jones gets deplatformed by like all the different social media giants, like at the same day, at the same time, dude, they're colluding.
Yes.
Big tech and corporate press colludes against people that don't back their narrative.
That's right.
I don't like it's weird to me that would even be remotely considered a controversial statement. It's clearly the case.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious to a great many people. It's just it's hard to communicate with one another about what is and isn't considered mainstream thought because they're the gatekeepers of thought.
Yeah.
There was, by the way, just really quick, there was a really awesome thing, talk by Michael Rectenwald, actually at that same event that Tom Woods was at, where he talks about big tech and social media, and he refers to them as governmentalities, and how, like, he doesn't give them the benefit of the doubt as, oh, they're private businesses, they can do whatever they want. No, they're governmentalities because they're serving the interests of the state.
Right.
And it's a great talk. He brings up some really excellent points, but it just brings me around to a line that I was telling our friend Mike Mahari about when I said that the thing is that like the Bill of Rights and particularly the First Amendment, it's still popular. Like despite all the crazy stuff going on in the world and despite all the crazy people in the world.
Yeah.
If you just surveyed a random sampling of folks, they would still rate the First Amendment as something like they believe in. Like it's still popular amongst the general public. Oh yeah, we have a First Amendment. I believe in free speech. So the state knows that if they were to just attack free speech head on, it would be poorly received. It would be unpopular. Right. So they have farmed out the responsibility of silencing dissent to big tech and corporate media and social media in exchange for monopoly protections when and where they require them. So that's what makes them governmentalities, and that's why they do not deserve the benefit of the doubt.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yep.
So F them.
Pretty much.
I'm being good. F.
You're being nice.
F.
F them all.
And last but certainly not least, the last piece of coal is for the Orange Man. By the way,
Orange, he looks like coal right there.
What a great picture. Look at that picture right there.
What's wrong with his face?
Dude, like I'm usually one of these ones who says that like I get that people call him Orange Man and I get that he obviously uses some type of like spray tan product.
What is that?
But I normally don't think it looks that bad. Dude, it looks bad right there.
Like chocolate.
He's looking bad right there.
Oh.
So anyway, Donald Trump gets the last coal in the stocking. Let me tell you why Donald Trump gets coal in the stocking. Let me learn you one for folks out there who might be on the fence about whether or not they support Trump. So this is the guy who said he likes to take the guns early. Like take the guns first, due process comes later. That wasn't a quote from Kamala Harris. That was a quote from Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know, this is the guy who believed in tariffs. This is the guy, and tariffs are just a tax on your own people, by the way.
Basically.
So in his economic nationalism, yeah, he may have reduced a few regulations here and there, but the tariffs were killers. This is a guy who's signing off on bailout after bailout. And this is a guy who was all for the stimulus going out earlier in the year. This is a guy who right this minute at the end of his administration, because he lost the election to Joe Biden, right this minute, this is a guy who is saying, well, we got to get another stimulus bill passed. I'm ready to sign it. Let's just I want more money for people. Let's get it in there. Does that sound like conservatism to you?
No.
No. You know, the worst thing, and by the way, also, it might be true in a certain sense that we haven't started any new big wars. But look, there's Yemen still, there's Syria. And you know what? All this talk about troop drawdowns, talk is cheap. We're still in Afghanistan. We're still in Iraq. This is a guy, you can find tweets from Donald Trump from years ago, long before he started his political career, saying things like, Ron Paul is right. Why are we in the Middle East? Well, you know what, big boy? You had 4 years to get it done. You didn't draw any of it down. So go screw yourself on that. He was not a peace president. Tons of drone strikes. So more of the same, more executive orders, not the type of stuff so Republicans allege to be the party of limited government and conservatism. And this was the guy that was the head of that party, and he's clearly none of those things. I mean, he's a New York Democrat. He's been a New York Democrat his whole life. So that's clearly not true. But I'll give one caveat for old Trumper. There's one thing he can do to turn it around here in the 25th hour to turn that coal back into candy before the end of the year.
And what's that?
He can pardon Edward Snowden.
There you go.
He can pardon Julian Assange.
There you go.
He can pardon Ross Ulbricht.
Okay.
So those three off the top of my head, there's definitely more. There's tons more. He can pardon nonviolent drug offenders. If it were me, I would be doing a lot of things. But we'll just say, for posterity's sake, those three. If he were to pardon Snowden, Assange, and Ross Ulbricht today, I would like candy. Next week's show would be just the entire show would be MAGA. Like we would do a whole show celebrating the life and times of Donald Trump if he would do that one thing.
There you go.
And I don't have to worry about putting the graphics together because I know he won't do it. Because I know that the Trump that Republicans wanted him to be is not the Trump that he is.
Right.
And that's why he gets coal in his stocking. But not us.
Not us.
Well, not you. You got candy. I don't know what I get.
But you don't do stockings.
We're probably just going to get pizza.
It's a good idea.
Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Let's take our final commercial break. Don't go away. Like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Alan Mosley TV. You can follow me on Twitter @Alan Mosley TV. Subscribe to our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/Alan Mosley TV. So we've come to the end of the line here. That's a nice song.
It is a nice song.
You quit turning that down. You turn that right back up.
I'm going to turn you up.
Turn your face up.
There you go.
Look what you've done. You ruined Christmas again. Guys, I want to leave you with this. Get serious here for just a second. Everything in this world is temporary, including your problems, by the way.
Yep.
And I think the older I get, the more I realize that celebrating the holidays with loved ones, taking those opportunities to be together, no matter what the governor or the press or whatever says you should be doing, they're really important because the older you, or at least for me, the older I get, the more I realize that there's a finite number of those. There's a finite number of those occasions, and while it's true, you don't know when you're having one whether or not it's going to be the last one, or the last one with a specific someone or a special someone. So all I can say is Merry Christmas, and I hope that you all spend it with your loved ones and the people that you care about. Thank you so much for supporting us. It's actually 1 year ago today that I posted the It's Too Late logo for the first time, saying, hey, we're getting ready to change the show and stuff. So thank you so much for staying with us and supporting us and helping us make this show a success, and it's very special to me. I hope it's special to you too. No show next week.
Right.
Enjoy your Christmas. Don't be sitting on your computer watching this. Enjoy your Christmas. Thank you so much. We will see you next week.